Time keeps on leaving and we keep on moving. When do we pass on our wisdom to the youth? My veteran story, lost arts discussions, fireside chats with a bourbon or two. It's time to hear the stories by our military veterans. Get yourself ready. It's the Lost Arts Podcast. The Lost Arts with Andrew Cox.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, a podcast of giving a voice to our veterans. On today's episode, we're having a fireside chat. We're having a fireside chat with the podcast crew, so we're going to sit around and just do what veterans do best, and that's just chat and have fun. So if you're enjoying these podcasts, be sure to check us out. Go to the lostart.podbean.com. Once you get there, you can actually click on that merchandise tab. You can get you a cool hat, shirt, different things like that. Anything that you purchase is much appreciated. Helps us in getting our veteran voices out, and the money goes back into the podcast here. All right, with that, I got my crew here. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Had a good week. Spent the day pressure washing. Satisfied. There's nothing like pressure washing. You just see results.
I like it. Those things are a lot of fun. I've got to be honest. You got to be careful. It depends on what nozzle you put on the end of it, because some of those are pretty powerful. You can mess some stuff up.
Yeah, I made a mistake of our back door. I was like, man, let me spray that while I'm at it. And I peeled the damn paint off that thing faster than there was just shards of paint flying everywhere, and I was covered in. I was like, yeah, well, I should have done that. So now I got another project to do.
One turns into two, turns into three. Nice. Yeah, good. Aaron, how about you? How you doing?
Doing good. Much like Mike, just doing things around the house, trying to get them done. You start one thing and you look over and you see another thing, and it's like, let me not forget about that. And then you forget about it for a little while, and then you at some point try to come back to it. But yeah, other than that, all is good.
Good. Vic, how about you?
Life is good. Today was a productive day. Mowed the lawn, front and backyard, edge, weeded. Had to replace the sprinkler head. Installed some garden lights. Washed the motorcycle. Yeah, it was a good day. And now I'm smoking my congratulatory cigar. This is an Oliva, Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. Nice, smooth, creamy cigar. Good to end the night with.
Very nice. Yeah.
Paid sponsor, right? Paid sponsor.
No. I wish.
Me too.
You're doing good on the introducing your cigars there, so that's awesome. I appreciate it. Could you not tell my wife how much stuff you were able to accomplish in a day? That way, I don't have to do that much stuff. I try to procrastinate on all that. But
you don't have a yard anyway, so
that's a good point. Yeah. I wait for them to come around, at the RV lot, so I don't got to.
Mark, you haven't bought your rollout turf yet, Andrew?
No, I don't have rollout turf yet. No,
it's coming.
It's mandatory.
Mandatory, yeah, noted. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing real good. I just got back from went out in the boondocks, East County, San Diego, visiting this old Vietnam veteran.
Nice.
He's doing good, but I try to keep in contact with him. And yesterday I was I spent a little time at Camp Pendleton for they had an organization called Speak Their Names. This group, they go put on different events for veterans for these units that have they do it for units on Camp Pendleton, if they're at Camp Pendleton, of course. But they go all around and do that. But one of the units that was being recognized was George 3-1 from the Korean War, the Chosin Reservoir campaign, and they had two of those G31 veterans there yesterday. 95, 96 years old, still just in pretty spry individuals. Really good to see them.
Wow. We'll have to get some of those guys on here. do a
Oh,
podcast.
heck yes.
That would be awesome.
Well, I'll put you in contact. I got the contact for the one guy. I can put you in
Okay.
contact with.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. That'd be an
This
awesome podcast.
this guy was on. He's the one lost part of his leg in Chosen Reservoir in the Green War. He came back. He was up in like northern area of California. He became a firefighter out in the like the wilderness firefighter.
Yeah.
Wow. Got his prosthetic and didn't let it stop him.
Good for him.
Just the guy's just amazing.
Wow. Holy cow. We all just hope we're that good,
Yeah.
That's amazing. So yeah, I've had a pretty good week. I can't complain. Been living in the RV. The RV's fantastic. It's lots of fun. Figuring out how to live in there with me, the wife, 2 kids, 2 dogs, and a lizard and a hamster. So we are stuffed to the brim. No, I'm kidding. It's not that bad. It's actually very comfortable, and the kids, they're good. They have their little closet space, where their bunk beds are. We can lock them in. I'm kidding. We don't do that. So if anybody's listening, it was a joke. Anyways, I sent you out a couple of articles today. I'm actually trying to find one now. Man, I went way off track on my phone, like went all the way to the very top or something. But one of those was about obesity in the military. And I find that very interesting. There's a lot of, it's happening quite a bit. Some of the other services, the Navy, Aaron, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like, if you don't make your weight, then you, as long as you fit in a size 48 trousers, you're good. But you have to fit into a 48. So you don't have to go on BCP or do any of that stuff, which is wild. 48 is pretty big, at least in my opinion, pretty big. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I think I can't remember offhand, but it's a sad state of affairs. Number one, it's personal. It's you can okay, yeah, you got a policy, you have to meet the standard, right? They've let it go so long, and I'm not talking one specific service, but across the services altogether. But then you look across what we have, what service members have available on base, right? You got your Burger Kings, you got all kinds of junk food in the C-stores. I'll talk a little bit about my little time living in the Navy barracks while I was stationed there in Little Creek, and I stayed in the barracks over at Norfolk at the base. And part of my duties was obviously to stand duty in the barracks over there. And I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it was 4 buildings I was responsible for. And at any given time on the weekend, weekday, weeknight, whatever, you walk around there and people are they're in their rooms. They're not out. They're not doing anything. Now, 2 things. They're not out getting in trouble, but the other thing is they're just laying around playing video games all the time. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with video games, but then you see them come out of their room and they're just, every last one of them, overweight. They're not active. There's no accountability of it. Sure, the gym is available and people use the gym, but a lot of times it's, most of the people using the gyms are in there getting big and strong. So they're not in there burning fat, But I go back to it being a personal thing. Is like you want to look good in uniform. Me, this is how I look at it. I want to look good in uniform. I wanted to be fit enough in case I was called upon to do something. Sure, there's a thing where I've heard it several times. Well, people should be able to, as long as they can perform their duties, right? So somebody that sets, my job was to work in a secure area and develop force deployment plans, and coordinate global force management, right? None of it took a whole lot of physical exertion, right? You had to think a lot, and you had to talk to people and coordinate. But it doesn't mean that at some point in my career, I wasn't going to be called upon to go do something that caused me to exert some physical energy and some force behind something if I had to, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's just it comes down to a personal choice, and to me, leaders are not enforcing policy, and they're allowing the troops or the service members' personal choices to become priority.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll pause there.
One of the things that it drives me crazy is when you look at the whole thing, we're talking mission ready, or are we mission capable? Are we able to do what it is that is needed at any given point in time? And a lot of services are fairly plump. Maybe they can afford that. The Navy, they sit on a ship for the most part, but definitely the Marine Corps can't afford that. And I think we do a pretty good job most of the time of being able to put people, in places to be able to get the help and stuff like that to get off, BCP and, work on it. Although there are people that fall through the cracks on that as well. But I don't know.
Good, man.
Well, I'll tell you. First of all, there's no breakdown of the 1 in 5. I'd be interested to know if there was any service was more represented than the other. Because now granted, 2022 was my last year in uniform. But when I retired, or when I had my retirement ceremony, I couldn't look out in the crowd and say 1 of 5 of you is overweight. There's no way. At least not in the Marine Corps. Everybody's got their 10 percenters, but it's not 1 in 5. At least where I was at. It doesn't mean there isn't an uptick maybe in BCP in the Marine Corps, but I'd be interested to see where that statistic came from, because it doesn't break it out. And later in the article, it also wrapped active and retired together. That'd be interesting, because it says the VA spends like $1.5 billion on obesity related things, both active and retired, or something like that. That'd be interesting too, to see who. I'm sure it's the retirees that are more obese than the active duty guys. There's some things in there that is skewed for some salaciousness in the article to sell some magazines there. But I will say that there is, it seems to me that there is a lack of intrusive leadership. Whereas the small unit leader, the sergeant, is not taking the Marines out and doing what is necessary. And now it's getting to the point where the individual service members' rights are becoming more important than mission accomplishment, it seems. Because now you're not allowed to go into barracks rooms without doing this or that or this or that. You have to. I mean, it almost takes an act of Congress to go into barracks room nowadays, other than for the weekly field day inspections. But like, other than that, and like Aaron said, it's the video game era now that we're in, kind of legit Marine Corps, if you want to call it that. It's a little scary as far as readiness goes for all the branches. So it's interesting. I'd be interested to see how because obviously the what was it, 51 people or something like that signed this letter, and they only noted one notable Marine. I'd be interested to see how somehow some of these numbers and the data flushes out a little bit more to make a better decision on it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mike, Mark, you got anything on it? No.
Yeah, I'll echo what Vic said. These things, just like the the weight issues, the barracks issues, everything like that. Those are just symptoms of a lack of leadership from the top down. It's taking a look at the standards and the standards that used to be in place are not being enforced. Those regulations are still there. All the regulations are still there. I don't think, as far as the Marine Corps goes, I don't think we've changed regulations that much, but how they are enforced, how they are, how the standards are upheld has changed. If that is a fact, I didn't ever have the problem about someone is against their rights to go into their rooms and check them during either working hours or even early before, not in the middle of the night. Just walk in. Can't be doing that. But just like you said, the intrusive leadership is not there from the top down. Like Napoleon said, there's no bad regiments. There's only bad colonels. So it comes from the top down that those standards got to be enforced. Everyone's leaping through their rear. Like I said, now this will be the next issue. First it was the mold in the barracks, and the barracks are all nasty. Okay, now we're making field day again. Okay, now what's going to happen with these reports coming out with the obesity? And next is going to be, when I was active duty in the infantry, no shaving chits were very few and far between, and they were very controlled, and they only lasted so long. Now there's Marines, and the other services are worse. I've seen Air Force and Navy. Majority of people have no shaving chits, and it's like it's no big deal. Yeah, just I don't feel like shaving, or it causes me a little bumps on my face, so I'm going to go for the no shave chit, and I'm going to keep it there forever, and it's allowed for some reason. So it's just it's a symptom. These things are symptoms of the bigger cancer of lack of leadership.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I don't like the term intrusive leadership. It implies too much. I call intrusive leadership. Like that's what it is. But for whatever reason, it became intrusive, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Leadership is leadership. If you're leading a Marine, you want to know everything about him. You want to make sure that he's taken care of, and those types of things. So that requires you to get to know that person. And I don't know. They can call it intrusive all they want. It's just leadership to me. But
yeah, I think I'm assuming we can all agree that we've all served with Marines or new Marines that always fought the weight challenge, and they were great Marines, but it was always a battle for them. We went into PFTs or weigh-ins. What they did, and I agree with the article with them saying there need to be more resources for people. It's not just okay, all you want to do is sit and play video games and eat Cheetos. Yeah, there are some of those. We all know that. But I agree with the fact that there need to be resources out there which are beneficial, but that still doesn't take the onus off the individual Marine. It doesn't take the onus off of the command or your leadership. But in your guys' opinion, I was never on it. I never had to face it when I was in the Marine Corps until now that I'm 50 and I can't get rid of this around my waist. But we all knew people that were on remedial PT or what is it, BCP?
BCP, yeah.
Does the Marine Corps still use the old, the tape method of measuring your neck and
they
doing
do
all that? Is that
a couple little changes to it, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, is that a true and tried, method? And I've read the studies, and I've known people that, these repeat guys that would pick you up and carry you out of anywhere. But, by Marine Corps standard, they were overweight, and it's how you look in uniform. And we've all seen it.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
Can things stand to change? Yes. But now the military is just a product of society. Do you think these other countries allow that? When you look at other militaries, or, some do, some probably don't. But I mean, the standards that they set are the standards they set, and this is how it is. There's standards to come in, standards to stay in. There's no wishy-washy. Well, today's society, or Mothers of America, are saying that it needs to be this way. And, like I said earlier, before, I think we're all in agreement. Change isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you have to evaluate how much change is going to affect the readiness of our military. And that's the biggest thing. It's, it wasn't uncommon to be sitting in your barracks room and open a door, and there was, somebody standing there looking at you. It was staff NCO, or, wanting to check on you. What's going on? What's here? What are you guys doing? We didn't. Yeah, when I was in the Marine Corps, we had, like Sega Genesis, or, I didn't. We had one in the room. We had the room. We had a 37-inch TV and a microwave, and one guy we had in the room, because there was 4 of us in a room. He had the laser disc. You remember the old laser disc? It was that, and the speakers, and we had put carpet down so we didn't have to, scrape and polish the floors, and but I mean, we stayed in there, but we also went out and did stuff. There was interaction. And
well, that's what
I think
that's what I was going to say, Mike. It wasn't a 48, 72 hour gaming convention where these kids don't leave the room. They order out, pizzas, whatever, it comes to them. All they do, take a break from their game to go grab their food, and then they're coming right back on it nowadays. Like you said, we played for a few hours, and then we went out later,
Yeah. I don't know now. What's the ratio to Marines, even junior Marines, that have vehicles?
I would say the majority probably have vehicles.
Yeah. We didn't. I didn't have it.
It's rare to have somebody come in and not have a vehicle or a driver's license. There are the individuals that come in without driver's license, and that's super rare. But most people have some sort of transportation.
Yeah. But I mean, we had there was, one guy we knew in the barracks that had a car. But other than that, everybody was walking to the chow hall. Everybody was walking down to the 7-day store. Everybody was walking, I'm talking 29 Palms, walking up the hill to the bowling alley, or walking clear across base to get to that one lone random payphone so you can make a phone call, and that was, that's what you walk to the band hall, you walk back, you got there in the morning and either carried all your crap down there, or it was, you ironed it there and you stayed there, practiced, do whatever you had to do, and then turn around and walked all the way back to the barracks. And that's, now everybody's got vehicles. And that's Aaron, you saying that. I didn't even think about that. Now, I'm sure, like Uber Eats and that stuff, I'm sure they're getting on base, unless they're actual things like that on base to deliver. I don't know. I don't know how that is now.
And just depends if what the base access is.
Yeah.
So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, I know at the School of Music, you walk all the way from the barracks to the chow hall, from the chow hall to the school. And if you were able, legal to drink, or, everybody's like, oh, we're going to Jimmy's. Hell, I don't even know if Jimmy's is still there.
It is a different name now, but
everybody
still calls it Jimmy.
Yeah, you'd walk all the way over there and walk back. But
Yeah,
So
I
have
mean,
you
we're
guys
just a
seen
product of society now.
have you guys seen the video of the comparison between the armed forces commercials?
I'm not sure I've.
No.
I'll find the link and I'll send it out to the group. But it shows, and these are real commercials. It shows a Russian commercial for their
Oh,
army trying to get people to enlist in the Russian army,
yeah.
the Chinese army, and then the U.S. army. So it's yeah, yeah, and
I can
it's what
imagine.
it literally is what you think it is. It literally is what you think it is. But I'll send it out and maybe we can talk about it next week. But it kind of touches on like the culture that is being not only allowed but in some cases endorsed by our junior military members. This complacency culture of playing video games, of being inactive, everything on your phone. You don't have to go talk to anybody face to face. But it's a little frightening when you look at the caliber of people that our adversaries, our peer adversaries, are trying to recruit into their military, and then you look at and these are actual commercials. I'm not going to ruin it for you guys, but you look at the commercial for the United States military, and it's scary. It's scary because we're not looking to win wars. In my opinion, right now we're more about cultural experiments in the military, using the military as a test bed for cultural experiments, and that is not going to win us wars. The military is not something that everybody has a right to be a part of. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. But you don't have an entitlement to be in the military.
Correct.
It is a privilege. And if you can't maintain the standard, get out. So many times, I've watched officers sweep BCP like packages off their desk. No, go back and do this again. Go back and do this again. Okay, they can go on BCP for a third time because you messed up some paperwork. This Marine is a food blister. It is proven they have a track record of a year and a half of being a food blister. Kick them out. They can't maintain the standard. It is not their right. They are not entitled to be a Marine if they can't maintain the standard, or any service member, in my opinion. If you can't maintain the standard, you knew where you're getting into when you signed the dotted line. If you can't maintain the standard, get them out. Make room for somebody that wants to be a part of the culture, not somebody that thinks that the culture has to be, come to them, so to speak.
Yeah, and I will say on the talking about officers and that type of thing, the senior enlisted need to be holding those officers accountable to it as well. That is part of our job as senior enlisted. But I will say, whenever I had to do the band officer thing, and I was writing fitness reports, and Vic, you probably remember, but we had somebody that was over, and I called up. I had to call the chief of staff and say, "Hey, I'm writing an adverse fitness report because he didn't make weight." And not a pleasant thing. And I'm sure all officers feel that way. It's not pleasant. Nothing's personal about it. You just, hey, you didn't do what you had to do. Sorry, here you go, sign this. And but a lot of people don't do it. They, oh no, well maybe we could work with them and give them 3 or 4 months and da 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 da. It's, I don't know.
It's a leadership failure. It's always a leadership failure of the middle management. So the officers look at, what did you do as the small unit leader? No. You failed this Marine, so you need to go back and do it again. No, wait a minute. No. We are failing this Marine, and we're failing every other Marine by saying that it's okay to keep stringing these Marines along that don't meet the standard. Because the people that are meeting the standard see a degradation of the rules, they see a degradation of the standard, and they don't want to be a part of it anymore. I have to do all this work to do my thing, but that person gets away with murder almost, or whatever, and now what are we doing here? What are we doing? So screw it, I'm out. And foreign done, and we're losing good people out of the military because of this over and over. Well, no, we failed this person. We failed this person. No, we didn't. At some point, that person has to be held accountable. Okay, great. Right. You get 2 chances at BCP, by the way. That is your second chance. But I don't know. I could keep going on this soapbox for a while. I'm going to go back and smoke my cigar.
You definitely need to smoke the cigar. You don't want it the light to go out on it, you know.
Again.
Oh man. Well, I guess we can leave that topic. I think we solved that one. So
dead horse.
we far from solved it, but yeah, we pointed at all the things that that are possibly the problem.
Yeah.
It's just execution of fixing it.
True. Yeah.
Like you said, change is good, but if it doesn't make the force more lethal, it's not a good change.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't be said any better than that right there for sure. And you guys read the article about the Supreme Court and the GI Bill versus the post 9/11 GI Bill. Man, that's a deal right there. At least for the ones that will end up getting both. That's like super good. But I don't know. Somebody told me about that yesterday, and I was like, "What? That they passed that?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, dang." Yeah, because I did the whole, give it to your kids thing with the that's the post 9/11. So I did that, and I was like, well, whatever. So now I can go back and use the other one too. So it's pretty cool. Well, I don't know if it's official yet, but we'll see.
Well, I think it's going to take quite a bit for the VA to catch up because it's what did it say? It was like $8 billion that the VA pays towards education benefits, and now it's going to add like another 300 million. I don't remember exactly what it was, but several hundreds of millions more to that particular pot. And there was nothing in the article about Congress funding it. So where's the VA going to get the money? So it's going to. I think they definitely put the cart before the horse on this one, and it's going to take some legislation to give the VA more money just to cover that. But it's going to be a give and take, because now the VA has got to say, well, how many people are actually going to use it, so we know how much money more to ask for from Congress, and so it's going to be a couple years before any of this gets ironed out.
It's unfortunate because we continue billions overseas for pointless fucking issues that doesn't affect us. Yeah. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to take probably a couple of years for them to get the money into that pot, if you will.
Yeah, and I was also told that the TA tuitions assistant thing is going to start going away. I don't know how true that is, but that's what somebody told me, and I know tons of people that got their entire degree through that TA program. I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't go away.
I've been hearing that for a long time because, in our earlier days before 9/11, it was 75%. They only paid up to 75%.
Yeah.
And then they finally went to 100%, but, up to a certain amount. Right. But yeah, absolutely. I know tons of people too. I started taking advantage of that, but never completed it. So I look forward to this GI Bill thing, hopefully.
Yeah, and with the Marine Corps and how they're putting more stress on the enlisted side getting degrees and working on college and those types of things, because that's been a big push. If they take that TA away, that could hinder the ability for some of them to go, or not. I don't know, but if it will hinder them, they just probably won't do it as often. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Well, that's probably what they're going to, that's probably where they're going to get some of that funding from. They're probably going to take that extra 25% away from the tuition assistance and basically not reallocate, because I don't mean pull the money away, but, vote to end the TA, that extra 25%, go back to the 75% or whatever. And then, what they were spending in that extra 25% for all service members, they'll probably, just kind of push it towards the GI Bill. But I mean, there's tons of people out there that same boat. We decided to, give our allotment to the family for the post 9/11 GI Bill, and then opted out of going to school. But maybe in our later years, we want to get some schooling or some type of certification or something.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at going to the get a certification in Texas for RV repair. So not necessarily so I can make money, just so I can actually take care of my RV and kind of know what's going on. And I don't have the poo shower as it explodes or something. I don't want any of that. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I can get down for that.
Some of us may be calling you then. Hey, I know a certified guy.
Yeah. You'll have to pay me in beer and bourbon. So, it's tough price.
Deal.
Tough price.
Back to bartering.
Nice. So there was that other article that I sent you, and it's kind of along the lines of the whole idea behind the podcast, and talking about veteran stories and trying to get it out for like families to hear and everybody else. But it was the World War II veteran, never spoke about it with his kid, and his kid ends up getting the flight logs, and that's kind of how he discovered the types of things that his father went through and everything, which is pretty wild. My dad didn't talk about combat, and he was in it, but he would never talk about it. So it's not uncommon, that's for sure. And there's veterans today that they don't talk about it. They saw too much while they were out, and they were like, no, I'm good. Whether that's good to talk about it or bad to talk about it, I don't know. I'm not a therapist. I couldn't say. But apparently my therapist thought it was important for me to talk about things. But I didn't enjoy it. I'll put it that way. But talking to other veterans and just kind of going along, things start to just come out. You're telling stories, and you just kind of get into it. And I think that's the great thing, that this podcast we have going on right now, which is a great thing. And Mark, you just said you who was it, the Korean War vets that you saw just recently. So I don't know, did they talk about any of their stuff, or?
It was just yesterday. I didn't. I've spoken to them before because they were part of the 3-1 Association. I was in 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, and then we had a very huge, for lack of better words, following. These veterans, these 3-1 veterans from Vietnam, Korea, and even some World War II veterans. 20 years ago, around when the Iraq was kicking off hard, 2003 onward, there were still a lot of World War II veterans, 3-1 guys that would be around the battalion, and they would come to every function we had, the send-offs, the returns, family days, things like that. Marine Corps Ball, they were always attending, and they would speak to the battalion. They would tell them about certain battles that were going on and everything. So it was good for them to open up and get it out of their system, and it's good for the young Marines to hear it also.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great thing that 3-1 has going on there. And 1st Marine Division, they have the 1st Marine Division organization as well, where they do the same types.
Sure do. A lot of and then a lot of the battalions, both even at 29 Palms, the 7th Marine Regiment, and then the 1st and 5th Marines there at Camp Pendleton, they have there's a lot of engagement of the veterans from past wars that give back to the battalions these ways.
Yeah, very cool. All right, let's see. Anything else? That was all the stuff that I sent out, but you guys want to talk about anything else?
Maybe we can find one of these World War II veterans can help find Uncle Bozy, unless he was truly eaten by the cannibals.
Oh my God! So
we all heard Joe Biden tell that story.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Go ahead. Let us know. Let us know about it.
Oh.
What did he talk about? Tell me about it.
So he was reminiscing with a reporter about his uncle Bozy, whatever his name was. They called him Bozy. Was in Army Air Corps and over in the Pacific during World War II. But his he Biden says his plane was shot down at New Guinea and he was eaten by cannibals. When the Army Air Corps says that the plane was lost at sea.
And
Oh,
that's why everybody's putting on Facebook. What was it? I'm marked safe from cannibals or whatever.
cannibals, right,
Yeah.
right.
Or Corn Pop. Corn Pop was a bad dude.
That's good stuff. Oh my
And
gosh.
kids rubbing his legs in the hair on his legs in the pool.
Listen, I got it, but that's crazy Uncle Joe. He does not need to be the president of the United States.
I talked to my one of my brothers, and every time he's like very right side, but he always says it's my president. How's your president doing or whatever? And so I'm like, oh, Uncle Joe, he's doing real good, you know. And we go back and forth all the time. He's pretty funny, dude. I what Vic? What are you doing? What is that?
So the cigar has gotten to the point where like it's starting to burn my fingers a little bit. So my lighter comes with this. Let's see. Well, I'll show you. You see how these got grooves cut in it? This is an auger. So this is so if your cigar has a tough pull, you can kind of like if you go lengthwise through the cigar, it'll kind of like clear an airspace if your cigar is a tough pull. But it also has a very, very sharp tip on it. So you can kind of, a lot of guys will spear their cigar once it starts to get, because if you notice, it's about the length of my fingers, maybe a little bit less than double length of my fingers. So it starts to get a little hot to hold. So you just spear it through, and then you can continue to smoke it because it's a good cigar and I don't want it to go to waste.
Huh.
I thought you were eating Vienna sausages with a toothpick or something. I was like, that or you had a roach clip. I was like, what the?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You know, it's a good cigar. You don't want it to go to waste. These things are starting to get expensive.
You got to get that last $3 out of that cigar.
Damn right. Damn right.
You're smoking all the way to it's burning your lip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why you use like the Black and Milds and the Swisher Sweets. They got the little tip on them. You can get something to hold on to.
Very nice.
Or
Very
you can get one of these.
So anything else? Going once, going twice. We haven't quite gone an hour or anything, but go ahead.
So have you guys seen the video of the drag queen giving her little speech, their speech? They're at like kids story time, and this drag queen is reading a book to like a room full of children, and the book is basically about go Palestine, go Palestine, go Palestine. Drag queen reading a book, having the kids chant go Palestine, go Palestine, go Palestine. Children.
That's crazy.
Where are the parents?
Exactly. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Where was this at?
I'll look it up and I'll send it out in the group chat. But it's I can't remember. It's like something Valley was the banner of the school in the back or something like that. But I'll send it out to you guys. It's wrong on a lot of different levels. You know, first of all, you know, you have the propaganda that you're feeding kids. You know, kids don't care about Palestine. Kids want to go play in the dirt. Kids want to go like swing and play outside and all this kind of stuff. They don't care about Palestine. But you have them chant this stuff. You have them chant, and the person that is the icon of it all is a drag queen at the front. The one person that is living a lie. You know, the personification, the physical embodiment of a lie is chanting this stuff over and over to the kids.
Oh, but it gets even better. I just found the article. A Jewish college professor portraying a drag queen led a group of young children in a chant to free Palestine at a queer storytime event held in a Massachusetts town.
Yep.
Wow. Massachusetts.
You can't even make this stuff up. You can't make it up.
But see how deviant it is. It's a Jewish college professor going against his heritage, the homeland of his heritage. I mean, like that Michael Savage says, liberalism is a mental disorder. There's just no other way around it.
So I discovered something interesting today, and it's in the Bible, and I'm going to find the little thing. It's in Ecclesiastes. Did I say that right? You would think I would know since I'm a preacher kid, but I don't. Where are my photos? There they are. Okay. This is
and you're done.
Yep. Yep.
He said him out.
He said
him out.
Yep. He said the Bible, so
damn it.
They shut him down.
Big Brother's always watching.
Yep. But to the point of the Bible, I mean, it tells you in there that there's gonna come a point where they're no longer hiding it. They're gonna do it right in front of you.
Oh yeah, there was a guy at Columbia University that says all Zionists need to die.
Wow.
Yeah, Columbia University goes by they them. By the way, if that tells you anything, and like telling it was on a podcast telling
right, that all Zionists should die.
Yeah, all Zionists should die, which is the Jewish people. It's Israel. You cannot separate Israel from the people. It is all one thing, and so like when you say Zionists must die, you're saying when you turn people against a culture, that's literally what Hitler did. That's literally what Hitler did.
Absolutely.
So it's you start to
welcome things. Back, Andrew.
Thanks.
Damn it! Don't say Bible again. It's going to get you cut off again.
Is that what it was? Dang it. So I hate to interrupt your guys' conversation, but I was talking to myself like it was freaking cool. And then I look up and all of you were frozen. And I'm like, ah. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't us. No, it's not us. It
wasn't us.
You carried on. It was all good. It's still recording in the magical cloud. So we're good. Let's see.
I keep waiting on Mark to disappear because he's like anti-liberal. I mean, one of these days the California mafia is going to come rolling up and something's going to happen.
He's been trained long enough to handle himself. He's good.
Okay, I'm gonna read the Bible verse and hopefully I don't get cut off. Is Ecclesiastes 10:2. A wise man's heart inclines him to the right, but a fool's heart to the left. So you got a wise man to the right, a fool to the left. I thought that was very.
And even Jesus says about separating the goats will be on the left and the sheep will be on the right. Speaking of sheep in a good way, of his flock, but the goats, is always depicted. A devil is depicted as a goat also, but the goats are on the left and the sheep are on the right.
Very interesting, and I think the definition that, like when it talks about in the Bible, the right hand goes back to the right hand of God. He said that he was put Jesus at the right hand of God, whatever, and the left hand is supposed to be I can't remember the word they used, but negative is what it was. I can't remember the word, but so I just equate it to politics, and I think that that verse was specific for us in this time. Yeah. All right. All right. I thought I was on my own on that one again. I don't know.
No, it's Vic was getting ready to say something, but go ahead, Vic.
No, I got nothing.
Okay. Yeah, growing up. So funny thing is, growing up, I was always taught, just avoid politics at all costs, right? And obviously, in the military, you're supposed to be apolitical. But we are in a day and age now where politics is technically part of everyday life. It affects everyday life. To the point of, these things we're talking about, the left's trying to lead you astray, and basically, I don't know how to put it in words, but to say all these things that are wrong and evil are okay because a person can do what they choose to do, right? Unless it goes against them. So like, us on the right, we believe in the Lord, conservatism, just doing the right thing in general, right? We're not talking about, okay, let's, Vic brought up the drag queen in schools, right? That's not right. You want to be a drag queen? There's a time and place for it. Go do it wherever you want to do it, but don't come into the schools and try to drag these little kids. That's perversion. That is straight perversion and completely wrong.
Also known as grooming.
Grooming, yes. That's the word I was looking for. Yes. It's grooming these children to grow into that. And it just, we all know how it starts with little things and it just grows into this monstrosity that you can no longer control. And then, we know who will control it in the end, but to that point, it's just, you have to say something. We have to start speaking up. And whether it's at school boards, whether you run for a school board position, whatever, but we have to start, standing our ground.
And that's where politics come in, because
yes,
the people that you elect represent more than just you. They represent a lot of people, and sometimes they have their own agenda. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro, he had a brilliant analogy, and he said the way that all this stuff, all this perversion, all this, what is now becoming mainstream starts, is kind of like in a neighborhood. When your neighbor invites you over and says, "Hey, you guys want to come over for a barbecue this weekend?" And you say, "Oh yeah, but our daughter is vegan. Do you guys have anything vegan?" "Oh yeah, we could do some vegan stuff." And then, a couple months later, in the summertime, your neighborhood wants to have a block party, and your neighbor is organizing the block party, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so we got to have some vegan stuff because we got some vegan people in the neighborhood." Now we've gone to one person that was vegan to now we have vegan people in the neighborhood, and we have to have vegan options, and now that the neighbor is like, "Okay, now, hey, we're going to go out. I'm a part of this, the Kiwanis Club or, whatever, and, oh yeah, we're going to have this party, for the neighborhood or for the city. We need to have vegan options because there are vegans out there." When it was one vegan that started it all, but it slowly rolls into this, snowballs into this thing where now it's like, oh my gosh, now we have to make these concessions at a huge level for one person. Transgenders, and I know this may be a hot topic, but transgenders are less than 1/1000% of the population. But it is such a hot topic right now. There's transgenderism, the whole drag queen thing, and it's like you were talking 1% of 1% of the population, but yet everybody has to make concessions. Everybody has to make concessions for them. I don't get it. Why at a federal level must we make concessions for 1% of 1% of the population for anything?
Yeah, because for those that are wanting to make the concessions, those are voters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
I
right.
mean, and that's what that's what they look
And
at.
that's where politics come in. So the people that are trying to avoid politics, that's what you're avoiding. You're turning your away from. You're shielding your eyes. You're living behind your blinders, and allowing 1% of the population to make choices for you.
Yeah, that's
Be
very
involved. Be involved. Vote.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just am amazed at how people, like, I got it. You maybe don't want to go out and, be active and doing and voicing your opinion out. A lot of military that way. But you got to vote. That's the important part. You got to get out, and we need to get people, like-minded people, to go out and get elected. I'm going to say, one of you guys got to run for office other than school board, like, president. That way we can vote for you. I'll write you in. Don't worry. I got you.
Well,
I Sergeant Major.
Well, I mean, everything starts.
All those skeletons popping back up.
Everybody's got them. But
yeah.
like
So
the lost art of voting.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Vic.
The lost art of voting. It's like the voter turnout has been on a slow, steady decline. And they're like, oh, we have record turnout. Do we? No, we have record people like running the same boxes of ballots over and over and over. That doesn't mean we have record voter turnout. We have record ballot harvesting and like a record drop box collections. It doesn't mean we have record voter turnout. But get out and vote. Allow your voice to be heard, and at the local level, it must be at the local level. Get out and vote for your city council. Vote for your school board. Vote for your HOA. Hell, just get out and allow your voice to be heard. And then some people will start to realize that the 1% of 1% do not speak for everybody. By the way, the cigar is still really good.
So I was just going to say, Andrew, once you sign the big deal, then you'll be able to run, because it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of money in those court cases to fight those skeletons off.
And he has the most followings with the podcast.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's enough skeletons in there for all of us, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you see what they're doing. If they don't like you, they're going to go after you freaking and use the system against you. So,
well, that's what they say about Trump when he was running started back in 2016.
Yeah.
The press did not make him, so the press cannot break him. But they're trying their best.
Well, here's what I would say. In the 80s and 90s, all these people that are against him now were with him because he had the money. He was hosting the parties. They were all attending them. And now all of a sudden, because he ran for president to call a bunch of, mainly the Clintons, on their BS that they were doing, now everybody's against him. So
yeah, because they all benefited from him.
Right. Exactly.
And he pointed out too that he used to give money. He'll tell, he was my best friend when I was giving him money.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, Mitt Romney. They were all his best friend when he was giving them money.
Yep. Funny how that works, huh?
Now they got Soros paying them.
That dude's got a ridiculous amount of money.
I won't say it on the podcast, but something should have happened to him a very long time ago.
It's a good thing you're not saying it on the podcast.
Yeah, he needs to find God. The Bible.
Yes. Absolutely. That's exactly what we're talking about. He needs to find God. Yeah. And I think with that, we might just wrap this up. Last parting shots for everybody. Nope. It's just me.
No, it's not.
Yep. He froze again. Stay motivated and change your shot. I was
going to say, somebody get a screenshot of that.
I got to figure it out. It's driving me insane. I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to go to somebody's house and use their Wi-Fi. I don't know.
Come on down, man. We got you. We're just a hop, skip, and jump away.
Well, this is a cue for me to say it's about time to wrap it up. Anybody have any last parting shots before we say goodbye? Aaron? No?
No, nothing motivating. Just, hey, keep on keeping on.
All right. I like it.
Wait a minute. I do have one. If you ever question the little people making a change, you've never been in the dark with a mosquito.
That's pretty good. I like that. Mark, you got anything? Nothing from Mark? Mike?
Nothing of any consequence. No.
All right. Well, to all the listeners out there, thanks for tuning in. If you're feeling down, you think like you might want to hurt yourself, something like that, just remember there's always places to reach out. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can also text 939-288, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net, click on that chat icon. Any of those options are going to get you in contact with somebody to be able to help you. I care about you. I know the podcast crew cares about you. All the veterans care about you. So please reach out for some help. To the podcast crew, thank you guys for coming on. To everybody out there, stay motivated, change your socks.